Good afternoon. In this video, I am going to be discussing, what we're going to be talking about here on this new YouTube channel entitled All Things Space. So the reason I wanted to create this channel is I've been a bit of a space nerd my entire life. Starting as a kid, I was into, Star Trek. I was watching all those different shows and just over the years became a big fan of everything space. Really enjoyed it. Just the sheer size and scale of everything that's out there is just mind-boggling. And a lot of times at night, I will, having a tough day, ready to try to unwind for the night. It's like, well, the best way for me to unwind is usually been, pulling up YouTube and pulling up some space videos, and then I can fall asleep, and so always wanted to have an opportunity to create, content, inside of this space, no pun intended, but just always wanted to create some videos here, and really just kind of create the videos that, as a space enthusiast myself, that I would want to see, things that I would want to learn about. So over time, we're going to be filling out this channel with all kinds of different, playlists and different sections of the channel. My goal is to put together a team and create some really good visual effects, get some really good sound on there, and really just make videos that people are going to enjoy. And so some of the topics that we'll be discussing here, we're going to be talking about, certainly basic facts about space. We'll be covering, of course, our own solar system, learning about the planets, learning about all the different structures that are flying around the solar system, all the different entities that are out there, um, recent discoveries, things like that in our local solar system, and really just kind of deep diving on all of the planets. Spend some time learning about the asteroid belt, the Kuiper belt. I mean, really everything related to the solar system. Just kind of get, all of that out there, and then as well, all the things that we know and observe, in space. My goal is to create, really, again, just good educational content for those that are looking to learn about all things space, but then as well create some engaging content. We will talk about different, you know, uh, things that people speculate a lot about. One of them being the Fermi paradox, which is, one of my, I guess, favorite subjects inside of space. Just, when you look out here and you see, all these different stars, all these different galaxies, you just wonder if there's anybody else out there. And so the Fermi paradox is, one of those things where it's like, that's, I mean, the ultimate, question of, I mean, of all questions that exist in the cosmos. Like, I think for most people, it's like that's the one that matters the most, or, at least it's certainly the most compelling. And maybe that's for me, maybe those that are the Star Trek or even Star Wars enthusiasts, where you've kind of grown up seeing all these different aliens and people are, hanging out on a certain planet together or hanging out on a certain ship together. And it's like, so, but we have not seen them. We haven't really seen any trace that there's other people or other things out there. So, we'll definitely have a playlist where we're talking about all the different theories and hypotheses around the Fermi paradox, and just learn from some of the some of the top level people out there that have been studying this for a long time, and just kind of learn from them, and so kind of share some of that information here on this channel. Certainly as well, we're going to talk about, finding different exoplanets and other potential Earths that are out there. Again, when you look out and you see all these stars, and we know that there are billions of stars, billions of planets, even just in our own galaxy, you know, is there another Earth out there? Is there another planet that is, similar to ours, enough so to where we could actually live there? Um, I've seen a lot of content where we talk about like Alpha Centauri and some of the different planets that are there because that's the nearest star to ours. Is there really anything there for us? Is there a possibility that we could create a second home there? Or is that, we barking up the wrong tree? Is there something else that we need to be focused on as far as getting to? And so just learning more about that and just kind of what's out there. Another interesting topic will be, discussing a little bit more about different settlements and different things that can be created even in our own solar system. I think a lot of folks are very interested in potentially having a colony on the moon or a colony on Mars or a colony on Titan or a different moon here inside of the solar system. And so we're going to be talking all things space, if you can't tell on this channel. This is definitely a bit of a passion project for me and something that I've been looking forward to doing for a long time. So my goal is to really create content that you guys really want to see. So as we go along here, your feedback on the videos will be very, very important. Certainly the liking, subscribing, certainly, things like that will show me that you guys like the content. But then as well, I want to see people engaging, in the comments section, talking about these different debates, just really getting involved with the discussion. And from there, from time to time, we will be polling the community to learn more about the things that you guys want to learn about inside of space as well. And again, I'm not a scientist. I'm not here with my lab coat on and, saying that I know everything about space because I don't. There's so many things to learn. I'm certainly more of an enthusiast, so I'm not a physicist. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an astronaut. Okay, I'm not an astrophysicist. I'm a normal guy who is a fan and also just somebody who, okay, sorry about that. I had a message pop up on my Slack over here. Um, but I'm really just somebody that wants to create value. I think there's a lot of folks that, myself included, that find a lot of value just learning about the cosmos. I will say over time, and this is something that is, I guess, another kind of a long-term, goal or passion project, is I would love for this to be discussed a little bit more in schools. As we go along here, I do have a family, I do have young kids here at home, and I remember as a kid, learning about space, learning about the stars, learning about, I'll just say science, and in a lot of schools now, it's very, very limited, what's really being taught, and it's not something that, like when my parents are growing up, somebody was landing on the moon, right? And it was a big deal, to talk about this, and it was something that, was a priority. And, maybe things have changed a little bit. We've got the old Space Force and a few things kind of going on now, right? But for years, it's just something that isn't taught. It isn't pushed. And, you know, I think one of the beauties of space is just the unlimited possibilities, right? You look out there and there's an infinite number of possibilities. And a lot of times in this day and age and in this world, we only see things as black or white. We only see things as, um, it is or it isn't. You know what I mean? And, a lot of times that just ends and, it ends, just the creative, side. And, thinking about things like space and teaching it, just teaching the possibilities, kind of discussing like, what would it actually take, to get to Alpha Centauri? What would it actually take to travel the stars? It's those kind of discussions, like with young kids, that will inspire the next generation of potentially space explorers, but certainly scientists, those that are interested in this type of engineering, this type of physics, and over the years just create a situation where maybe one day you know humankind here might become an actual multi-planetary species. Um, those of us that have dug in deep enough already know that in the far, far distant future, this planet will be destroyed, by our own sun. And so at some point in the future, we're going to have to get off of this planet, otherwise our species will no longer exist. And so, when do we start thinking about that? When do we start prioritizing it as a society for people and especially young kids, inspire them with the thought that, maybe one day they could go on to create a new technology, or maybe they could go on one day to, be a part of a project that allows kind of the standard building blocks of making something like that actually happen. So it's going to take quite a bit of innovation. It's going to take quite a bit of resources and people making it a priority. And hopefully we don't wait too long. You never know. There's obviously a lot of crazy things going on our planet here, and it's like you never know what might happen to where things change, and all of a sudden now maybe it's not even possible for us to um, reach out into this limitless universe. So um, that's about it on the rambling for me. Um, this video was a bit of a brain dump, and that was kind of the goal, is just kind of put something out here, explain, kind of the idea around this channel, and as well talk a little bit about the vision. But ultimately, the goal is to educate, the goal is to inspire, um, and ultimately entertain, which is certainly a big part of YouTube. So the goal here is to create, good educational content, but as well engaging, entertaining content that you guys are going to like, that you guys are going to watch, that you guys are going to, share with friends and family or other, space geeks or space enthusiasts out there that are interested in learning about this, crazy vastness that's out there that we call space. And so, in conclusion, I do want to dedicate, um, I want to dedicate, this channel, not only to my wife and to my kids, um, in particular my son. Um, we did a project way back when he was in kindergarten called Space Time, and it was one of those deals where I was super excited because he was really getting into like the moon and getting into stars and getting into it. Um, just like any dad, it's like you always are hoping that your kids will find some interest in some things that you find interesting. And so it made my day when he was really getting into the moon and getting into space. And we did this project, and it was for a science fair at his school. And he, as a kindergartner, had to get up there and basically explain to people um, all these different facts that we had learned and discovered about space. He was up there and people were interviewing him, asking him questions about his project, and he was talking to them about the distance between our planet and the sun. He was talking about our distance between the planet and the moon. We did talk about Alpha Centauri and how that's the closest star to our own. But then we also talked about other facts and figures, the difference between an asteroid and a comet. We talked about, gosh, I can't even remember now, but it was just one of those things where it was such a joy and such a fun, thing to do together that, I'm hoping that over time, maybe this is something we can do together here as well. And so you may see a playlist here eventually where maybe we let some of my kids, even make some videos on here and, just to try to appeal to that younger audience as well, get some younger folks actually watching and learning more about space. And so this channel is going to be all about space. Again, documentary videos, definitions, terms, understanding the universe, and then as well new discoveries and also future technology that is related to all things space and beyond. Have an awesome day, and I look forward to creating content that you enjoy.